never expected to hear those words from my own father. She's nothing, a failure, should have never been born. That's what my dad said when he thought no one was listening. For years, I'd paid the mortgage on our $770,000 home where they lived rent-free. I'd sacrificed everything for them. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just made a decision. 1 week later, I sold my luxury home and moved to another state. I left them alone with the consequences of their words. Before I dive into my story, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your location in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for what happened after I discovered the truth about my family's true feelings. It's a journey that might help anyone dealing with toxic family relationships. My name is Lauren Bennett. I'm 32, a financial analyst, and this is how I finally set myself free. It started in our sunlit dining room in Dallas, Texas. I can still feel the sting, the thick Texas heat drifting in through the French doors, the scent of rosemary chicken in the air, my mother fussing with her napkin, my older brother, Ethan, scrolling on his phone, my father, Greg Bennett, sitting at the head of the table, barely glancing at me. Only my little sister, Olivia, seemed truly present, her gaze flicking between us like she could sense a storm coming. I tried to keep things light, talking about a new project at work, something that might land me another promotion, but my father barely listened. Then, out of nowhere, as Olivia excused herself to help our mother in the kitchen, he looked at Ethan and said, loud enough for anyone to hear, "You know, if Lauren spent half as much time trying to build a family as she does pretending to be successful, maybe she'd actually be worth something." He said it like a joke, but I saw the venom in his eyes. Ethan just smirked and nodded, mumbling something about type A overachievers. My heart dropped. Did they really think so little of me? Did they always talk about me this way? I felt Ethan's leg brush mine under the table. He was always a little too familiar, always ready with a backhanded compliment or a suggestive joke when nobody else was watching. A shiver ran down my spine, and I wondered, if Mom or Dad saw, would they even care? That was the moment I realized I didn't belong here. Not really. Not even in my own house. The house I'd bought. The house I was still paying for while they spent their days complaining about bills and acting like I owed them something for simply existing. But here's the question that haunts me as I replay that evening. Why did my father choose that moment with everyone gathered to humiliate me so publicly? Was there something else going on? A plan, an alliance, something I wasn't seeing yet? And why did Olivia, who'd always been my one true ally, look away when it happened? I could barely eat another bite. I excused myself, headed upstairs, but even in the safety of my master suite, I felt exposed. My reflection in the mirror looked strong, hair perfectly smooth, lips painted red, silk blouse clinging to my curves. But inside, I was shaking. That night, lying alone in bed, I replay every detail. The way Ethan's eyes followed me up the stairs, the way my mother ignored me, pretending not to hear my father's cruel words, the way my phone buzzed with a text from my coworker Jordan, the one I sometimes fantasized about late at night. He wrote, "Still up working?" or "Just thinking too much again?" I almost laughed. He had no idea. Would he still want me if he knew how broken my family really was? I scrolled through my savings account, watching with a wave of resentment, the auto payments draining my bank each month to cover the mortgage, utilities, even the family's endless online shopping. Would they notice if I stopped paying? Or would they just move on to someone else, like vultures circling for the next meal? The next morning, I caught Olivia outside by the pool. She hugged herself, eyes red like she hadn't slept. I wanted to ask her, "Why didn't you stand up for me?" But the words stuck. Instead, she whispered, "You know they'll never change, right?" And for a moment, I thought I saw guilt flicker across her face. But then Ethan stepped out onto the deck in just his boxers, muscles flexing, and grinned at me in that way that always made my skin crawl. "Hey sis, you joining me for a swim?" It was a taunt, a power move. He knew what he was doing. I turned away, but the question wouldn't leave me. How long had this been going on? Was Olivia hiding something? Was Ethan? Did I even want to know? All I knew was that something in me had snapped. I wasn't going to keep playing the good daughter. Not anymore. But if I walked away, if I left them all behind, what would they do to survive? Would Ethan finally take responsibility for something? Would my parents turn on each other or find someone else to blame? And most of all, what secrets would come crawling out once I was gone? That's when I decided I was done sacrificing myself for people who saw me as nothing but a bank account, a scapegoat, a warm body to blame. But I couldn't just leave. Not yet. I needed to know what was really going on. I needed proof. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to realize your whole family is using you, wait. The real betrayal hadn't even started yet. The next night, I can't sleep. There's a tightness in my chest that won't go away, a sick, restless feeling I can't shake. I wander the house in the dark, feet silent on the hardwood floors, trying to outrun my own thoughts. I end up standing outside Ethan's closed door, half wondering what would happen if I just barged in and screamed, "Why do you hate me?" But I don't. Instead, I hear voices, low, urgent, just beyond the wood. I press my ear against the frame. My parents are inside. My mother's voice is sharp, the way it gets when she's plotting something. "She'll pay for it. She always does. Greg, don't worry. Lauren's too soft to say no." My father grunts. "I'm tired of depending on her. Maybe it's time she understood her place. Maybe Ethan should talk to her. Get her to sign those papers. We could use her name for the new loan. She owes us." A chill runs up my spine. Sign what papers? What loan? Why does Ethan need to be involved? And then my mother. If only she'd just get married. That Jordan kid at her work, he's always flirting. If she got distracted, maybe we could convince her to move out, hand over the house for real. I'm frozen. Every instinct tells me to kick the door open, to confront them, to finally say all the things I've swallowed since I was a child. But I stay quiet, listening. Ethan's voice joins in, a lazy drawl. "Don't worry. I'll handle Lauren. She thinks I'm on her side." He laughs. My mother laughs with him. And just like that, I understand I'm not just the bank. I'm the target. They want my house, my money, my signature, my future. How long has this been happening behind my back? How many times have they lied straight to my face? I step away from the door, heart pounding so loud I think they must hear it. Suddenly, I remember every little moment that never made sense. The mysterious credit card bills in my name. The time my father lost my Social Security card and said he'd take care of it. Ethan's smug look when he offered to help with my taxes last year. Are they already stealing from me? Do they think I'll just roll over and let them have everything? My phone vibrates. It's Jordan, late at night. A string of emojis and a blurry selfie from his apartment. "You up? Wish I was there. Bet you look hot even when you're mad." I stare at the screen, biting my lip, tempted to invite him over just for the warmth, the distraction. But I know better. If he comes here, if he meets my family, will they see another opportunity? A new wallet to squeeze? What will he think if he knows the truth? Will he run? Or will he want to save me? Downstairs, Olivia's curled on the couch in the dark, knees tucked to her chest. She startles when I sit beside her. "Can't sleep?" I whisper. She shakes her head, eyes shiny with something between fear and guilt. "Did you hear them too?" I nod. She takes my hand, fingers cold and trembling. "They want you to co-sign for Ethan's loan. Dad lost more money. He's gambling again." I squeeze her hand, jaw tight. "How long have you known?" Olivia shrugs, a tear slipping down her cheek. I always know, I never say anything. I'm sorry, Lauren. I'm so sorry. A million questions whirl in my mind. Is Olivia a victim too? Or is she just another part of the scheme? Will she stand with me, or will she choose them if I fight back? Ethan finds us together before dawn, his t-shirt clinging to his chest, sweat beading on his neck. He sits too close to me on the couch, his thigh brushing mine, making my skin crawl. He grins, voice soft. You girls having a slumber party? What are you talking about so late? I force a smile. Nothing that concerns you. He leans in, his breath hot against my ear. Don't forget, everything in this house concerns me, Lauren. He winks at Olivia before heading to the kitchen, whistling. My mother passes by, silk robe fluttering open just enough to reveal her thigh, like she's advertising a desperation I never noticed before. She glares at me. Trying to be useful for once, Lauren. Ethan needs help with his paperwork today. Don't be selfish. I watch her walking away and wonder, how did I end up here, surrounded by people who hate me? People who would rather use my body, my money, my soul than ever say thank you. I head upstairs to my office, hands shaking, and lock the door. I open my laptop and start searching. How to evict family members in Texas. Signs your family is manipulating you. Emergency therapists near me. I stare at the mortgage app on my phone. My name, my signature, my burden. How long before they try to take it all? Can I outsmart them before they destroy me? Or am I already too late? And suddenly, a new message pops up. Jordan, again. Miss you, dreaming of that body under my sheets. Call me if you want to play. I smile, bitter and lonely. Maybe, just maybe, I'll take him up on it tonight. If only to remind myself that someone, somewhere, still wants me for more than my bank account. But I can't shake the dread, the certainty that this is only the beginning. What will they do when I start to say no? What will they do when I finally fight back? I barely sleep that night. Every sound in the house feels suspicious. Footsteps in the hall, whispered voices through the vent, Ethan's door opening and closing, the hum of the fridge. By morning, my nerves are frayed and my body aches. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling fan, wondering how long it will be before my own family finds a new way to twist the knife. Downstairs, I hear laughter, my father and Ethan talking loudly about some business idea, their voices echoing in the open-plan kitchen. The smell of bacon drifts up the stairs. For a moment, I almost convince myself things could be normal. Then I remember last night. Olivia's cold hand, Ethan's threat, my parents' plotting. I roll over and reach for my phone. There's a text from Jordan. Want breakfast in bed? Or want to join me in the shower? I imagined his strong arms around me, his hands tracing my hips. For a second, I'm tempted, just to escape, to be touched by someone who doesn't see me as prey. But reality is always waiting. I force myself out of bed, shower, and dress for work, choosing a silk blouse that hugs my chest, a pencil skirt that shows off my legs. Sometimes dressing like I own the place helps, even if I don't feel it. As I head downstairs, Ethan's eyes rake over me, slow and obvious. He smirks. Gonna kill some poor man at the office today, sis? His words hang in the air, heavy with suggestion. I don't answer. My parent doesn't look up from his phone. In the garage, I find Olivia sitting on the hood of my car, hugging her knees. She's wearing Ethan's old hoodie, drowning in the fabric. Her eyes are red-rimmed. Are you going to work? She asks. I nod. She hesitates, then blurts out, Don't sign anything for them, Lauren. Not until you read it. They tried to get me to do it last year, but Dad said I was too young. They think you'll just say yes. I reach for her, but she pulls away. I'm scared, Lauren. They're desperate. I want to ask her what she means, but my phone buzzes. An email from my boss about an early meeting. Why is Olivia so afraid? What exactly did they make her sign? On the drive to the office, I replay everything in my head. The way Ethan looks at me, my father's anger, my mother's coldness. Is it always going to be like this? What if I just disappeared? Would anyone really care? Or would they just fight over what I left behind? At work, Jordan corners me in the break room. He's wearing a tight polo, arms flexed, smelling of expensive cologne. He leans in, voice low. "You look tired. Rough night?" His fingers brush my hip, lingering a moment too long. My breath catches. I shouldn't want him. He's reckless, cocky, probably trouble. But as his eyes drop to my lips, I remember the house, the lies, Ethan's threats. Maybe I need trouble just to remember I'm alive. He smiles, tracing a finger at my arm. "Call me tonight, Lauren. I'll make you forget all of them." I let him touch me, let myself want him, even if only for a minute. The rest of the day drags by in a blur of spreadsheets and fake smiles. I get home late, hoping everyone is asleep, but no, my parents are waiting in the living room, papers spread out on the coffee table. Ethan sits on the armrest, swirling a glass of whiskey, eyes fixed on me as I enter. "Lauren," my mother says, too sweet, "we need a favor. Just a signature. Help your brother out. You know how much he's struggled." She slides the papers toward me. "You trust us, don't you?" Ethan pats the couch beside him, a little too familiar. "Come on, sis, it's nothing. Just need a co-signer so I can get the loan for my business. You'll hardly have to do anything, and I promise I'll owe you one." His hand falls to my knee as I sit. My skin prickles. I pick up the pen, but my hands are shaking. "What's the interest rate?" My father sighs, annoyed. "It's standard. Don't be difficult." If I sign, will they stop? Or will they just want more? Olivia stands in the hallway, biting her lip, eyes pleading with me not to do it. I look up at Ethan. "Why can't you do this yourself? Why do you need me?" He leans in, voice dropping to a whisper. "Because you're the only one left who's still stupid enough to care." His words slice deeper than any knife. I drop the pen, forcing a smile. "I'll think about it." My mother frowns, but my father cuts in. "You were always the selfish one." I stand, refusing to let them see me cry. But inside, something twists. Why do I keep letting them do this to me? What will it take for me to finally say no? Upstairs, I lock my door and call Jordan. His voice is soft, warm, inviting. He asks if I want company. I say yes. That night, as he kisses me, hands roaming my body, mouth tracing my collarbone, I let myself feel desired, wanted. I dig my nails into his back, needing to mark something, to claim a part of this world for myself, even if just for tonight. Afterwards, as we lie tangled in sheets, he whispers, "You can always stay with me, Lauren. You don't have to go back there." His offer sounds like freedom, but I know it's not that simple. I trace his jaw, whispering, "I wish it were that easy." But I know, if I don't act soon, they'll take everything. How far will they go to get what they want? And what am I willing to lose to finally be free? The next day, the air in the house feels electrified, like everyone knows something's about to break, but no one's willing to say it. I wake to find Ethan's car missing and my father's voice booming from the patio, barking into the phone about missed opportunities and useless daughters. My mother is already in the kitchen, slamming cabinet doors, her lips pressed into a hard line. She won't look at me. Olivia's nowhere to be found. I check my phone. 2 missed calls from the bank, a reminder about the mortgage, another text from Jordan. "Let's get away this weekend, anywhere but Dallas. Just you and me, no strings." Part of me wants to say yes, to run, to lose myself in his arms, his bed, his kisses rough and hungry, hands claiming every inch of me until I forget my own name. but I can't. Not yet. I make coffee and sit at the marble counter, scrolling through my accounts. My money's running low. Every month, more disappears to pay for things I never use, bills I never agreed to. Why does my father get angrier as my bank account gets smaller? Why does Ethan vanish every time there's a crisis? And where is Olivia? It hits me. They're planning something right now. Maybe today. I check the security cameras on my phone. Olivia is outside, sitting on the porch swing, staring into the distance. I go out to her. She flinches at my approach, but I sit beside her, close enough that our knees touch. "Are you okay?" I ask. She shakes her head. "They're going to ask you again. Dad says if you don't sign, you're out. They're desperate, Lauren." Her eyes well with tears. "He made me sign something last year, a line of credit. He said it was just a formality, but then maxed it out. I'm ruined, Lauren. I'm ruined, and I can't leave." My stomach knots. How much do they owe? How long before it's my turn? I hug her, feel her thin frame trembling. She buries her face in my shoulder. For a moment, I wonder if I should take her with me when I go. But then I remember. Last week, I saw her slipping cash from my wallet. I said nothing, pretending not to notice, but the truth is obvious. Desperation makes people do terrible things. Even sisters. Inside, my father is waiting, papers in hand. He slaps them down on the table. "It's time you stepped up for this family. You have until tomorrow to sign, otherwise you can find somewhere else to live. Maybe Jordan can help you, if he's not just using you for fun." My cheeks burn, Ethan smirks, lounging against the wall. Mom stares, her silence a weapon sharper than words. I pick up the papers. What is this? "A bridge loan. Just sign." Ethan grins. "Don't be difficult, Lauren. We're all counting on you, unless you'd rather move in with your boyfriend." He leans in close, breath warm on my neck, whispering so only I can hear. "Heard he has a thing for redheads. Maybe I should introduce myself." Revulsion twists inside me. My own brother, always towing the line between brotherly and something else, now pushing further. I slam the papers down. "I'll have a lawyer look at it." Dad's face turns red. "You don't trust your own family?" "I trust facts," I snap. He advances on me, his finger inches from my face. "You're nothing without us. You never were." Ethan laughs. "Careful, Dad. She might finally grow a spine." Mom sighs, looking at the ceiling as if begging for patience from a god she abandoned years ago. I retreat to my room, the papers clutched in shaking hands. I flip through them, scanning for traps. There are plenty. Hidden clauses, variable interest rates, blank signature lines. They're trying to ruin me. I open my laptop and start researching. How to sell a house fast in Texas. Can you evict family members who don't pay rent? Cheap apartments in Austin. I draft an email to a realtor. "My name is Lauren Bennett. I'm the sole owner of my home and need to sell quickly and discreetly. Please advise on next steps." I call a lawyer. "Do I have the right to remove my family if they don't contribute financially?" "Yes," she says, "as long as your name is on the deed and you give proper notice. Be careful, they might try to sabotage the process." I call the bank, move my money into a private account, and begin forwarding my mail to Jordan's place. All day, my phone buzzes. Texts from my father, Ethan, even my mother. "Don't be selfish. You owe us. Without us, you'd be nothing." But by nightfall, I have a plan. Tomorrow, I'll meet with the realtor. By the end of the week, the house will be on the market. And I won't tell anyone until it's too late for them to stop me. In the dark, Jordan calls. "Are you okay?" I hesitate, then tell him everything. The lies, the threats, the papers, Olivia's confession. He listens in silence, then says, Move in with me. Tonight, we'll figure out the rest together. I want to say yes, to throw myself into his arms, into his bed, to let his hands erase every ugly memory. But I can't do this alone. I hang up, staring out the window, wondering, when they find out, will they destroy me or finally set me free? Will Jordan still want me when I have nothing? Will Olivia ever forgive me if I leave her behind? I strip naked, climb into bed, and cry until there's nothing left. Tomorrow, everything changes, and when the dust settles, only one of us will still have a home.
By dawn, I'm already awake, nerves pulsing like static under my skin. I rehearse every step in my mind. Where my passport is, which documents I'll take, what I'll say if Ethan corners me before I leave for work. But Ethan is nowhere to be found when I come downstairs. My father is pacing the living room in sweatpants, phone glued to his ear. My mother sits in silence at the kitchen table, picking at a dry piece of toast, her eyes dark and puffy. Olivia hasn't come out of her room. I slip my briefcase over my shoulder, keys tight in my fist. My phone vibrates, a message from the realtor. Ready for walkthrough at 9. Can confirm your ownership. Will bring all paperwork. I reply with a single word. Yes. As I open the front door, my father hisses, "Where do you think you're going? We're not done here, Lauren." I glance at him, heart hammering. I have a meeting. His nostrils flare. You always have meetings. All that ambition, what's it ever done for you but make you bitter and alone? I don't answer. He barks after me, "Don't forget who gave you everything." But he's wrong. They never gave me anything. I gave up everything for them. At the office, I barely register the small talk. I meet the realtor, sign the listing paperwork, and hand over the keys. The process is mechanical, emotionless. Once this goes live, there's no turning back. A question gnaws at me. Will they find out before it's too late? Will they fight me, sabotage the sale, or beg for mercy? By afternoon, my phone explodes with calls from home. I ignore them all. I send one message to Olivia. Stay out of the house tonight. Trust me. I don't return until late. When I walk in, a storm is waiting. My parents are standing by the front door, Ethan sprawled on the couch with a drink in his hand. Their faces say it all. Betrayal, rage, disbelief. Ethan's the first to break the silence. You think you can just kick us out? Sell the house we all live in? Are you insane? He's drunk, and his words slur with venom. My father grabs the listing paperwork from the counter, waving it in my face. You did this behind our backs. You're out of your mind. My mother's voice is brittle, on the edge of tears. Lauren, please, honey, let's talk. This is our home. How could you do? I stand there feeling a strange calm, as if I've already left my body behind. I set my bag down slowly, take a breath, and look each of them in the eye. No, I say, this is my house, my name on the deed, my signature on every bill, every payment, every repair. You've never paid a cent. You've never said thank you. All you've ever done is take. All of you. He scoffs, eyes roaming over my body, the same old leer in his gaze. So what? You think that makes you better than us? You think money makes you untouchable? He steps closer. Maybe you should be grateful I'm not taking what I really want from you. For a moment, the room spins. I don't back down. Try it, Ethan. Try anything, and I'll have you arrested. You don't scare me anymore. My father is turning red, fists clenched. We are your family. Family means loyalty. I cut him off, voice steely. No. Family means respect, love, not using someone until they're empty. I open my briefcase, pulling out a thick stack of papers, printouts of every payment I've made, every loan they took in my name, every time I bailed them out. I toss them on the coffee table. Here's what your loyalty looks like. You want to talk betrayal? You've betrayed me for years. Ethan flips through the sheets, face darkening with every line. You kept records? I nod. of everything. And if any of you try to mess with me, if you sabotage this sale or touch my accounts, I'll take all of it to the police. My mother breaks, tears spilling over. Lauren, please, we'll change. Just give us another chance. We're your family. I shake my head. You've had 32 years of chances. There's a pause. Then my father explodes. You think you're so smart, so perfect, you'll end up just like your mother, alone, miserable, forgotten. My voice is barely a whisper, but it cuts through the shouting. I'd rather be alone than used. I pick up my bag, turning to leave. Ethan lunges, but I step aside. My father shouts after me, "You're dead to us. Don't come back." I keep walking, heart racing, adrenaline burning through my veins. I don't stop until I'm in my car, the front door slamming behind me, their shouts muffled by the closed windows. For a long moment, I just sit, watching the lights flicker inside what used to be my home. Is this freedom, or just another kind of loneliness? Will they actually leave, or will they find a way to drag me back in? My phone buzzes. Jordan. Still want that getaway? My bed is empty and I'm wide awake. I let my head fall back against the seat, finally smiling, if only for a moment. Tomorrow, the house will be on the market. Tonight, I get to choose, run to someone who wants me, or finally stand alone. And I wonder, when the dust settles, who will I be without them?
The morning after, the house is eerily quiet, like all the air has been sucked out, leaving only the heavy scent of loss and fear. I pack the last of my things before anyone else is awake. Each step feels like an act of defiance. Photos into boxes, jewelry into a velvet pouch, birth certificate and passport zipped into my purse. I move through rooms I once called home, remembering every sacrifice, every insult. Every night I lay awake wondering if love would ever outweigh resentment. I pause at Olivia's door, hesitant. I want to say goodbye, to hug her, to promise it will all be okay. But a memory flashes, her hand slipping money from my wallet, her eyes flicking away when I needed her most. I slip a note under her door. You can still get out. I hope you will. Call me if you ever want help. L. Downstairs, my mother is already at the kitchen table, mascara streaked down her cheeks, clutching a mug of cold coffee. She doesn't look up when I walk in. You really mean to do this, Lauren? She croaks, voice thin as paper. I nod. The sale is going through. You have 2 weeks to move out. The realtor will handle the rest. She sobs, but there's something hollow about it, like she's more angry than heartbroken. You're just like your father's mother, cold, ruthless. She died alone too. I bite my tongue. The urge to scream at her about the credit cards, the endless manipulation, the way she always let Ethan cross lines burns inside me. But what's the point? She'll never see herself as anything but the victim. Ethan storms in, reeking of last night's whiskey and old cologne, shirt unbuttoned. You think this is over? He sneers. You'll regret this, Lauren. No one walks away from family. I'll make sure you pay. He leans close enough that I can smell the bitterness on his breath, his fingers grazing my hip, threatening and intimate at once. I refuse to flinch. I look him dead in the eyes. Touch me again and I'll call the cops. Or maybe I'll just leak what I know about your little business deals to the IRS. Want to see who survives that war? He freezes, rage and fear flickering in his gaze. For a split second, I see the boy he once was, lost, desperate, jealous of anyone with real power. But I don't care anymore. Why did I ever protect him? Olivia appears in the hallway, her hair a mess, eyes swollen. She clutches my note in one fist. Are you really leaving? She whispers. I nod, the words thick in my throat. I have to. She starts to cry, begging, don't go, please. If you leave, they'll turn on me. I can't. I hug her, holding her so tightly I feel her ribs. You're stronger than you think. You always have been. You're the only one who can save yourself now." But inside, I wonder, will she make it? Or will they break her the same way they tried to break me? I load my car with everything I own. My father watches from the porch, arms crossed, lips curled in contempt. "You'll come crawling back. They always do." I force myself to meet his stare. "Watch me." I drive away, feeling lighter with every mile between me and that house. Dallas shrinks behind me, the skyline fading into the Texas horizon. I don't cry. I don't look back. Instead, I call Jordan. "Still want company?" I ask, my voice trembling with adrenaline. He answers on the first ring. "I'll meet you anywhere. Name the place." His words wrap around me like a lifeline. For the first time, I let myself imagine a future that isn't just survival, but desire. Passion without strings, kisses without guilt, hands on my skin that don't leave bruises in my soul. I get to his place just after noon. He opens the door shirtless, eyes hungry, voice low. "You sure about this?" Instead of answering, I drop my bag and pull him to me, lips crashing into his, arms circling his neck. I let him strip me down to nothing, let his mouth roam everywhere they made me feel shame. For once, I give in to pleasure not as an escape, but as a declaration. This is my body, my choice. I moan his name, his hands gripping my hips, our sweat tangling on the sheets. For hours, there's nothing but touch and heat and a wild, desperate need to feel alive. Afterwards, tangled in his arms, he whispers, "You're safe here, Lauren. You don't have to run anymore." I close my eyes and almost believe him. But deep down, I know. My family will never let go quietly. What will they try next? And am I ready for the war that's coming? I text the realtor. "Let's move fast. I want this chapter closed for good." And I wonder, when the sale is final, will I finally be free? Or is this just the eye of the storm?
3 days before the sale closes, I wake to a barrage of missed calls, voicemails, and frantic texts. "They're losing it. Dad's threatened to sue you. Ethan's tearing up the house. Mom's hysterical. Please, Lauren, call me." My heart clenches, but not with guilt, only with exhaustion. How many times can I be the one to clean up their chaos? The realtor calls next. "Lauren, the buyers are solid, everything's moving fast, but your brother showed up drunk during the last walkthrough. Security had to remove him. I need you to make sure your family's gone by closing." Will they try to destroy the deal? Will they trash the house? I tell her, "Just get me to closing day. After that, whatever happens isn't my problem." Jordan makes coffee, watching me read the messages, his touch gentle at my waist. "You don't have to go back there," he murmurs. "Let the lawyers handle it." But I shake my head. I need to see it with my own eyes, to prove to myself that I can face them and not break. That afternoon, I walk back into the house for the last time. The living room is a battlefield. Furniture overturned, picture frames shattered. Ethan slumped on the stairs with a split lip and a wild look in his eyes. My mother wails from the kitchen, clinging to an empty wine bottle, while my father sits stone-faced, arms crossed, staring at me like I'm a stranger. "Look at what you did," Ethan spits, wiping blood from his mouth. "This is your fault. You broke this family." I keep my voice steady. "No, Ethan. You did that all by yourselves." I hand each of them a formal notice. 36 hours to vacate, keys to be turned over at closing. Anything left behind will be discarded. My member crumples it, tears streaking mascara. "You're heartless. I gave you life." I look at her, truly look at her, as a woman and not as a daughter seeking approval. "You took more from me than you ever gave." I walk through the house one last time. In the master bedroom, I find Olivia packing a suitcase, hands shaking. She looks up, face blotchy, eyes wide. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "I wish I was braver." I hug her tight, breathe her in, and whisper, "You survived. That's enough." Will she ever be free? Will she forgive me for escaping while she stays behind? I leave as the sun sets, the house blazing gold behind me. For the first time, I don't feel like a victim. At closing, the buyer signs, the check hits my account. It feels surreal, exhilarating, and terrifying. The realtor shakes my hand. You did it. Most people would have cracked. I think of everything I endured. Every bruise, every insult, every night spent curled in a ball wishing someone would love me enough to rescue me. I rescued myself. The news spreads fast. Greg Bennett and his family evicted and exposed, all of Dallas whispering about the scandal. My parents' friends stop answering their calls. Ethan loses his business partners, and the police come asking about some misplaced funds. Jordan and I celebrate with champagne, his mouth hot against my neck, hands exploring my skin like he's memorizing every inch of the woman I've become. For once, pleasure isn't escape, it's proof. I belong to myself now. Weeks later, Olivia calls from a new number. I found a job, she says. A real one. I'm living with friends. I just wanted you to know I'm okay. Tears spring to my eyes, but I laugh, bright and free. I knew you would be. My father writes a final message. Cold, bitter, full of accusations. I delete it unread. For the first time in my life, I choose silence. In the mirror of my new Austin apartment, I see a woman I finally recognize. Scarred, yes, but stronger for it. I pour a glass of wine, step onto the balcony, and call Jordan out of bed with nothing but a whisper. He answers, voice low and hungry. Be right there. I close my eyes, savoring the night air, the city lights, the fierce pleasure of knowing I won, not by crushing them, but by saving myself. And when my hand slides beneath the silk hem of my robe, I remember, this is my body, my life, my story. No one else writes the ending. Will they ever regret what they did? Maybe. Will I care? Not anymore.